Hey, let's talk about love and sex. And we have to put God in the mix. You know, we live in a world where our TV shows, our movies, and the mindset of people, it's nothing new, but, where people think that if we meet someone and we like them, we have this physical attraction to them that means that we have a connection and we should hook up and it's okay. We like each other. We both look good. You look clean. I look clean. I can't see anything, on you that looks like you have anything. You look like you're a good person. You look like you don't have a disease. You look like you take care of yourself. Where we have this mindset that says if you're attracted to each other, you can just get together and have sex. Well, unfortunately, just because you can doesn't mean you should. And just because you want to doesn't mean it's right. That's like me saying, okay, I feel like robbing this bank because I don't have money. Well, that doesn't make it right to do just because I really, really, really need the money. So when we talk about sex, sex is only right in the content of marriage. I know people don't want to hear that, because everybody thinks that, God doesn't matter. So we don't have to do what he says. We don't have to, he knows that we want to have sex and he made us attracted to each other. He also said to not touch each other until you're married. Why did he say that? Why would God say not to touch each other until you're married? Well, I want to ask you this question, and you may not have ever asked yourself this question, and no one may have ever posed it to you this way. But I want you to look at any statistic, any record, anything that shows anything about diseases or any such thing like that. Do you notice that people who are married don't have to wear condoms? People who are married don't get sexually transmitted diseases. Why? Because God said marriage is the only place that sex is holy. It's the only place that sex was made for. It was made only for marriage between one man and one woman. God never told David to get, 700, concubines. He never told Solomon to get 700 concubines and 300 wives. He never told them to do that. So that was not his desire for their lives. That's why Solomon had so many problems, because he got off trying to please these different women and trying to please and serve their different gods, and he walked away from God. So what I'm trying to tell you is, if you notice, it doesn't matter if you wear a condom. It doesn't matter what some people are so, they're so out of it. They think that birth control helps deal with disease. The only thing that stops disease is marriage, guys. Married people do not get sexually transmitted diseases unless somebody is unfaithful in the marriage. But if it's just married people, you have to notice and pay attention. Married people never get diseases. Why? Because that's the only place that sex is made for. That's the only place that sex is blessed in. It's holy. It's covered. It's beautiful. God loves it. As a matter of fact, when you're married, God says have sex as often as you can so that you will not be tempted, by anyone else or when you're away from each other. But people that are dating and having sex, people that are having sex that is out of wedlock, the reason we get diseases is because God said the wages of sin is death. So when you have sex and you're not married, you will get a disease. It doesn't matter if you wear a condom. It doesn't matter what you do. You can wrap yourself in saran wrap. It doesn't matter. We get diseases because it's sin, and sin is when sin, it equals the wage of death. That means you'll get diseases and things of that nature. That is the only reason. It's not because people don't bathe. It's not because they're not clean. It's not because they touch some nasty person. The average person is going to take a shower after they have sex. But that's not the reason that people get diseases. We get diseases because God said, "Hey, don't do that." And when you do that, you're uncovering yourself. You're not covered by the holiness of God. You're not covered in that. What you're doing is not right. It's wrong. It's against God, because he never intended for us to have out of wedlock children. He never intended for us to have kids that did not have a home, that were unwanted. He never intended for us to be in the abortion clinic. He never wanted any of that. That's why sex is only for marriage. Sex is not love. Sex is a benefit of love. Sex is a benefit of marriage. It's a beautiful thing. It's one of the beautiful ingredients that we get to enjoy when we're married. We get to enjoy that. And when you're married, you get to enjoy that as often as you choose. But anything outside of marriage is death and disease. There's no way around it. Doesn't matter how you like it. I don't care how horny you are. It doesn't matter. It's just because you can doesn't mean you should. And you should really think about that. No, you've never seen married people in clinics saying we got chlamydia, we got AIDS, because marriage is holy. Any sex outside of marriage is disease and death. So if you're dating and if you're in relationships that are not godly, which means that, we can't do, anything that God said not to do. Sex is only right in marriage between one man and one woman. All else is sin, disease, and death. There's no way around it, and you can't stop it. You can do all these campaigns about, abortions and AIDS and all these different things. The only reason that those diseases exist is because people are having sex out of wedlock. Hey, sex is for marriage. Sex does not equal love. Sex is the benefit of marriage, the benefit of being in a godly married relationship. It doesn't matter if you're saved or not saved. When you're married, your sex is holy. Everything you do in marriage, the marriage bed is undefiled when you're married. So you are covered. That's why married people don't have diseases. Everybody else, that's why the clinics are full of all these different diseases and people's, growing warts and, body parts falling off and all that, because you're having sex out of wedlock. And until you understand that it's God's way or it doesn't work, then you'll keep getting diseases where people keep dying. I don't want you to die. God doesn't want you to die. He wants you to have sex in married. So if you want to have sex, get married. Have all you want. But if you're not married, stop. Because you're not going to stop getting diseases. And you should love yourself and don't let the enemy trick you that way. God's excited about your future. He loves you. I'm excited about your future. God bless. Keep it and do what God says.